At this point, there is no easy answer for them. Here in the parking lot, the dumpsters are out. Renovations on the exterior of the building have already begun. Still, many of these tenants have nowhere to go. They say, quite frankly, they do not trust the water coming out of their taps. Instead, they rely on bottled water. They believe it's a couple of teens who live nearby, and they are doing a whole lot of damage. Take a look at this side door. They bashed the glass in. You can see that glass scattered right there. There are 5 911 calls. In them, passersby tell dispatchers there's a man dressed all in black in the middle of the road and that he has a gun. Is there any way we could just ask you a couple of questions? Wilson County Sheriff Calvin Woodard once again declines to take questions. Sheriff, what about those Facebook comments that you made regarding the dogs? Is there any update on that? We know that police were called here to Worsham Drive for a reported assault. There remains a heavy police presence here on Lowell Ridge Road, which is about 2 blocks away from Worsham Drive. Again, the call came in at around 8:40 tonight. You can see several police cars lining the road. There's also that ambulance back there. We're told EMTs were called here as a precaution. Now, we want to show you some video that we shot as soon as we arrived on scene shortly after 8:30. Now, I was able to make it down to Worsham Drive, and I spotted more than a dozen police cruisers, some officers in tactical gear. Again, a huge response. There was also a large group of people across from the home. Now, neighbors I had the chance to speak with say they haven't been told much. They have not been told by police to hunker down, so it's unclear what exactly is behind this large police presence. Again, we know that police were called here for a reported assault, and that at this point, people are not allowed to remove their cars, again, from Lowell Ridge Road. We're going to continue to follow this closely, and we will, of course, keep you updated both on air and online. For now, we are live in Raleigh. Amy Cutler, CBS 17 News. We want to give you an idea of the power of this storm. There were some very heavy rain that came down, but there were also lightning strikes associated with it, and that's what brought down this branch right behind where we're standing, right in front of this person's home. Neighbors telling me that the couple who lives here was actually trapped in their home, that firefighters had to come and kind of cut up some of this debris to get it out of the front of their home. And I want to show you where it came down from. Look all the way up. You can see it was a large branch that was brought down by a lightning strike all the way up there. Then I want to give you an idea of the heat associated with that lightning strike. If we can bring you around to the side of this house here, you can see that branch, the bottom of it here is all charred. You can see that black there. That is from a lightning strike, is what firefighters are telling us. We also had the chance to speak with some neighbors. Take a listen to what they had to say.
A lot of lightning and thundering, all right, and then a lot of wind, and it's been very, very heavy rain coming down, and we heard a lot of very, very close lightning strikes.
Yeah, and they say they did not expect what they came out to find, which is this large branch down in front of their neighbor's property. That couple just moved here from New Jersey. They tell me that they're used to having large trees and some branches come down, but did not expect to find it here in Raleigh. Now, we're going to continue to survey the area, and we will have more coming up in a little bit. But for now, we are live in Raleigh. Amy Cutler, CBS 17 News. It's been about 6 months since John McCollum and 9 of his followers were arrested. He says at its height, 200 people lived at the ranch. Now there's only 5. Still, John McCollum denies any wrongdoing.
There's a lot of things that people don't understand.
Bedridden on hospice care, John McCollum says he wants to set the record straight. The leader of the alternative religious group opening up about his beliefs, his ranch, and his followers.
If you work together, you accomplish more than you would by yourself.
McCollum says he bought the property in Godwin back in 1993. Formerly homeless himself, McCollum, who was already preaching, tells me he hoped to help others, allowing them to live on the ranch. He says the rules were simple: no drinking, no drugs. His followers attend church, wear black and white, and weren't allowed to have boyfriends or girlfriends, at least not while they stayed here.
I was messing with me, and he said, "You seem like a dad to me." And when he said that, but when people come around, they started calling me Dad.
Many of his followers, including children, still call him Dad. In 2008, McCollum bought his first fish market. 2 others would follow. He says he used them to help pay for the ranch. Authorities accuse McCollum and 9 others of forcing children between 9 and 17 years old to work at those markets. They called it slave labor and say the children didn't go to school. McCollum tells me the children would study there. He places the blame on 6 teens who he claims didn't want to learn.
Trying to make them do schoolwork, they wouldn't do it. And I told them, I said, if you can't get them to do it, you need to put them in public school.
So some people might question, you're the head here. How didn't you know what was going on?
I was ahead. When I started getting sick, I didn't feel like being bothered.
As his health declined, McCollum says his oversight grew more lax. He showed me photos of children he tells me he helped become productive adults. McCollum and his followers are also charged with fabricating high school transcripts to enroll teens at Wake Tech. He was released on bail back in May after he suffered several strokes while behind bars. In court, Octavia Robinson yelled and cursed, then asked the judge to terminate her parental rights. The 34-year-old is accused of adding lighter fluid to soda that she then gave her 2 sons to drink. They're 6 and 10 years old.
It was certainly very troubling, and as a parent with young children myself, you just can't imagine any parent wanting to harm their children.
Robinson's first run-in with police happened on Friday, just across the street from the Motel 6. The district attorney says she was with her 2 boys, had a knife, and threatened to harm herself. She was committed to a mental hospital for 2 days and released Sunday. Just hours later, District Attorney Billy West says Robinson gave her kids that toxic soda. I went to the Department of Social Services, or DSS, to find out how they determined Robinson was in the right mindset to care for her kids.
You guys are in the meeting, aren't you?
The director, Brenda Jackson, wasn't available for an interview. She responded to my questions by email. Jackson says they had no prior history with Robinson. Because of confidentiality policies, Jackson said she couldn't comment specifically on this case. In your experience, when somebody is involuntarily committed, do they get their children back as quickly as it happened in this case?
I'm not really familiar with that procedure.
In court, West requested and the judge agreed that Robinson undergo a mental health evaluation. Meantime, her 2 sons remain in DSS custody. In Fayetteville, Amy Cutler, CBS 17 News.
It hurts.
Corporal Dylan Baldridge was just 22 years old when he died.
You never think it's going to be your family.
He was serving in Afghanistan when the Department of Defense says he and 2 other servicemen were shot and killed. The Taliban claimed responsibility.
We have pictures, at his Army graduation.
Like, we have one where he was little and he was like next to this big jet.
We should honor the flag because he came home under one. We have kid sizes.
In his honor, Baldridge's stepmother, Jessie, and his father, Chris, started Honor Flags, Inc., their organization bolstered by a $25,000 check from the president. Trump pledged the money during a phone call with Chris shortly after Baldridge's death back in June of last year.
He had a very kind heart when he did this for us and for America, because we've now had a couple of fundraisers.
This 3rd fundraiser is especially close to their heart. It's for Sergeant William Bay's family. He died next to Baldridge. Jesse and Chris made this wooden American flag for them, a family photo and message on the back.
If we can come together and give them a box of
Fun things like
Jesse's 7-year-old son, Ethan, found the right words. They're selling T-shirts and collecting donations. Jesse says all the money raised will go to Bay's family. The larger goal to make a wooden American flag for every service member killed in 2017.
This chose us. We did not choose it.
But to me, you're a great flag maker.
Thank you, buddy.
Amy Cutler, CBS 17 News.